My dear brothers and sisters, we give thanks to God for gathering us this Sunday, the 33rd Sunday in Ordinary Time, and we join Jesus in His resurrection to new life. May we experience the new life offered to us by His Word, by His body and blood, and by the Spirit that is poured into the community. We join our brothers and sisters who are following this Mass through live streaming. Maraming salamat po sa inyo. At ang inyo pong mga prayer requests ay seryoso po naming pinagdarasal. Dito po sa Kolehiyo Filipino, laging nagdadasal. Di ba? Kaya magpadasal pa po kayo. We can see from the readings that the liturgical year is coming to a close. In fact, next week, we will celebrate the solemnity of Christ, the Universal King, which is the last Sunday of the liturgical year. And then we start a new year with the Advent season. And the readings at the end of the year and the beginning of Advent, they meet in terms of how to welcome the Lord. Usually at the end of the year, we are looking forward to His second coming. The future, what they call the second coming or the fulfillment of time, which many people dread. They say, please postpone it. But that will taper off to Advent, to commemorate His birth. But they're the same. We have to be prepared to meet the Lord. And our readings are beautiful. In fact, we can spend the whole day looking at each one and learning from them. I guess all of us, especially in the context of the pandemic and in parts of Central America, in the Philippines, typhoons, and also earthquakes, some people are like the Thessalonians in the second reading. They look at the times. I don't know, maybe some of you have already received text messages. Father, coronavirus, earthquakes, typhoon, is the end here? Is the second coming already imminent? Parating na ba siya? No? The response of St. Paul is, you have no need to be written, for anything to be written to you about it. So please do not answer those texts. Follow St. Paul. If you answer, tell them, that's not for us to determine. Our business is now, live as children of the light, and not children as children of the darkness, of the night and darkness. You are missing out on the most important thing. Be and act as children of the light. For you do not belong to darkness. So whenever the Lord comes, may the Lord see you as one of the children of the light. That should be your concern. When the year 2000 was coming, the talk about, the end of the world and the virus that will destroy all the computer programs and everything. Now it's 2020. So those who predicted that, I don't know. Tomorrow they will predict again. But be focused on who we are, our identity, and our action. When the light, Jesus, comes, may we be identified easily as children of the light, because we consistently live and act as children of the light. And one good example is in the first reading from the book of Proverbs, the ideal wife. But we can say this is not just about a wife, but any person. The figure of a wise person, skillful. She knew how to deal with wool and flax. She knew how to work with her hands. Her fingers plied the spindle, skillful. In the wisdom literature, skills are a sign of wisdom. But it is not just in housework was she wise. She extends her hands to the poor. She extends her arms to the needy. Acts of service, of charity. Not just skills, but what we might call life skills. Life devoted to the others. She is a child of the light. Her works will be praised in the city gates, according to the Proverbs, and her reward will be sure. So this worthy wife is a blessing to her husband and to her family. So the husband may come anytime like a thief in the night. Most husbands come like thieves in the night. But she is found worthy. She is a blessing. No? She doesn't have to say, oh, well, anyway, my husband is not coming home yet, or my child is not coming home. She is always prepared. She is a child of the light. She is wise. Wisdom. No? So not only developing skills, but also charity and living as a child of the light. Basically, this is affirmed in the gospel. The parable of the master going on a journey and entrusting his possessions to the three servants according to each one's ability. See, the master was very fair. The master was responsible. The master was not a tyrant. The master knows the capacity of each one and will entrust only what the capacity of or the ability of the servant has. Very wise. The master is very wise. But what is interesting to me is he just entrusted his possessions. 5 talents, 2 talents, 1 talent. But he did not give any instructions what the servants should do. Usually, when the master goes away and entrusts something, you leave instructions. Oh, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do that. I do that. No, when I have to go away, I say, okay, with this, please do this. This master goes away without any instructions, only trust. I entrust to you my possessions. He did not give the talents to them to be their possessions. They will not become owners. They will remain stewards, guardians. And his rule is trust. Trust. I know your abilities. I trust your abilities. And we know the evolution. The first 2 went immediately to the traders and invested their master's money. You know that's dangerous, huh? If you invest, you could earn or you could lose. But these 2 trusted also in their abilities. And probably we're thinking, what would my master have done with this money? He would have invested it too. So it was trust and what we'll probably call now discernment. Even without clear step-by-step instructions, can I harmonize with my master's mind? And I will take responsibility. If it earns, I have something to give. If I do not earn, I will face him. They took risks. The third servant was good, He did not steal the money. Actually, he preserved the money. But he was considered lazy. The preservation mode. Nothing changed. Nothing added. Nothing subtracted. No. And while the treasure was buried, what was he doing? We do not know. Maybe he was sleeping all the time. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to watch over. Is it gaining? Is it losing? Nakabaon naman eh. Safe yan dyan. Now, here the master looks for good stewards. Stewards. And part of stewardship is not always working in a clear context. It's very seldom that contexts are clear. But you have been trusted. And so you trust also. Trustworthy servant. That's where your connection with the master is important. If you know the master, you try to harmonize yourself with the master and then act. And not running away from responsibility. My dear brothers and sisters, what are the talents? It could be the blessings that we have. We have the graces, the capacities. But what is clear is that it is what belongs to God. I would like to think that the talents are really the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God entrusted to us. What are we doing with the riches of God? His kingdom. What are we doing? Are we, through our ministry, through our witness, through our mission, through our service, are we investing, making it grow? Or are we burying? Nothing changes. Now, we in the Philippines, we are marking 500 years or so. How will we celebrate it? By burying it 500 years ago. Or will we look at how it will grow? Our families, our time, especially the kingdom of God, entrusted to us. It is His kingdom. How do we work and even take risks in making the kingdom known? Which leads me to a final point. Maybe the talent given to us is Jesus Himself. Are we burying Jesus such that people do not see Him? Jesus is the greatest blessing given to us. But do we hide Him? Do we hide Him behind our rigid interpretation of who Jesus is? Or even do we hide Him because we have developed convenient notions and concepts about Jesus? Do we hide Him? Or Are we even ashamed of him? We can hide and bury Jesus in many ways. And so this Sunday, we are asked, no, how? What are those ways by which we have not made the faith of others grow because we have buried Jesus? We have some priests here, no? Do you bury your identity as priest? When people ask you, are you a priest? Do you actually say again, yes? Or do you say, why are you asking? How did you know? You lazy lout. Why are you burying it? Or yung mga mag-asawa, pag tinanong, siya ba asawa mo? Nasaan ho? Huwag mong ibaon. Ipakita mo. Bakit nung nagliligawan, tuwing Merkules, ibinabarandal, no? Sa publiko, nagnunubena sa perpetual help, parang pinapakita sa madla, girlfriend ko to. Pag napangasawa na, at medyo nagkakaedad na, sisimba na tayo, mauna ka na. Nahihiya ng lumakad kasama kasi baka mahalata na ang ma-associate ako sa kanya. Huwag mo itago ang asawa mo. Or sometimes, no, even parents, if a child is an honor student, no, during the awarding ceremony, so, oh my daughter, anak ko. But if it is a child who has to repeat grade 1, you call the spouse, oh, yung anak mo. Not anymore mine. Oh, there are many ways by which we bury Jesus and bury others. Today is also the Day of the Poor, the 4th World Day of the Poor. Usually, the poor are buried. When we have guests, international guests, one thing that governments do is to hide the poor. For they are a cause of shame and embarrassment. They bury the poor. But the poor are our wealth. And next week, we will hear Jesus. I am in the least of your brothers and sisters. If we bury Jesus, our treasure, and bury our faith, it is very close. We are just one step away from burying the poor into forgetfulness, neglect. And when the Master comes, we will hear next week's gospel. Magsimba ho kayo next week sa susunod na kabanata. Yeah. But when times are unsure, then this is the time not to bury the light, who is Jesus, and not to bury the light that He has entrusted to us.